Coming into a cedar forest in the Tumuhulau, we understand now that they use the word cedar to define this tree. A tree that the Sinixt people used to make baskets that lent itself in many ways to cultural practice in terms of the cadmium layer, the way they harvested it, whether it was in live trees or however they chose to utilize that particular tree. But in Sinixt language, that tree is called mol-heep. Mol-heep is an important word to use when referring to cedar, what's known as cedar, because language is a very important aspect to this landscape. It would be like using somebody's name for the first time instead of a word like hey you to name somebody, Charlie, and their name's John. And so John's not going to respond to Charlie the same way mol-heep is not going to respond to cedar. So it's very important, following protocols, that you address the green people, the trees, the plants, the land, the stones, with your intent, your request. That's how you create relationship. So whatever you're utilizing that mol-heep for, when you acknowledge it within the language and you speak to it with your intent for the form of practice that you're going to be utilizing the tree, it's actually coming into right relationship with the green people so that these projects will come forward in a good way. Our cultural practice is that whatever you're making for the first time, if it's moccasins, if it's gloves, if it's piece beadwork, culturally, whatever you make, and your first one you do, you're supposed to give it away. I would say it's probably personal if the feedback was that you kept your first weaving, because then if you were a weaver, you would be able to hold on to that weaving and see where your mistakes are and how you could better and improve your weaving process. But I would say it would probably have been given to someone who might know something about weaving, who could feed you pointers and give you a critique to improve your style. And they could look at your basket and they could say, oh, here, look at this. This is what you did here. So it wouldn't be someone who, in the romanticized version went, oh, aren't you just so talented and wonderful? And look what you did, as a praise up, but more of a critique role for improvement purposes. One aspect of Sinixt involvement with the Rossland Museum, the events that we do, whether it's a cedar weaving or if it's to come and do storytelling, or if it's to contribute the language pieces for different teaching events or educational events that we try to bring to a broader knowledge to all the people who live here, or come, visit, play, live, go to school, ski, whatever they're doing, hiking, biking, whatever they're doing, that they begin the process of knowing where they are. Here is mxiļp, which is the Rossland proper, and then there's Camargan, which is Red Mountain. Yes, they might say Sinixt are extinct. And in a letter they did say, for the purposes of the Indian Act. However, we are not extinct. our language is not lost. It will carry on here, and maybe you can be a part of it.